Best story I have on attitude. A young couple gets married. They have a beautiful wedding. They go to their what do you call that right after a wedding? Reception. It's been so long for me. A reception. And after the reception, they go to the honeymoon suite. And he picks up his bride and he carries her across the threshold. And he sets her down gingerly inside the room. He closes the door. And then he looks at her. You know those eyes that you look at each other with when you just first get married? Those lust-filled eyes. It goes away about a week later. And then you got 60 more years to... Didn't we love each other once? So he sets her down. He says, sweetheart, honey bunch, cutie pie, I want to get something squared away right now, right from the beginning. And she says, what's that? He says, just a minute. And he undoes his belt buckle. And then he undoes his trousers. And he slips his trousers off and he hands them to his new bride. And he says, you slip those on. Oh, you've done this. She looks at him kind of funny and she says, okay. And she takes his trousers and she steps into them. And she says, I can't wear your pants. They're too big for me. He said, you just remember that. You know, we got a fella down that's applauding that, but, you know, I love my wife very much, and I've learned to turn these jokes in a way that she wins. So it makes life easier at home. So this was a woman of the new millennium. And so she thought for about a millisecond, and she slipped his trousers off, and then she slipped her little... I used to be polite and say drawers. And then a woman came up to me and said, my great-grandma wore drawers, I wear panties. And I said, all right. So she slipped her panties off and handed them to her husband and said, you slip those on. So he stepped into her little panties and he's wriggling, and finally he says, I can't get into your panties. Wait. See, I waited too long now. She said, that's the way it's going to be until you change your attitude.